So this is just running with it. We don't know how it's gonna look. And
No, we know how it's going to look. We don't know what we're going to say
yeah.
because we are not saying anything. We are opening ourselves up to be channels for whatever needs to come through at this time. And we utilize plant medicine to assist us on this journey because sometimes the ego gets in the way and it wants to say, you got to say this and look like this because it's a podcast and people might expect this. When really that's neither of our frequency.
I feel like in this world, the way I like for me to even have a successful business, it's like I wear the ego as a suit. I just put the ego on, I wear it to its limitations of what it is allowed to do without the compromise of self. And that's how we have to interact, because it's like if you don't have an ego and you try to talk to people, it's like there's always that law of vibration of meeting somebody halfway to
exactly. Yeah.
I like what you said.
Yeah. To build a bridge of resonance, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh. Let's tee to that. That's right. We're here to build a bridge of resonance.
Building bridges of resonance. Yes. Period. Marketing.
Yes.
Marketing is natural if you are deeply authentic, right?
Yep. And I was just talking about this.
Okay.
The highest vibrational frequency is authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yes.
We were talking about it at dinner even.
And we were actually doing this experiment. You came a little bit too late for it, but
okay.
There's an app called Arla.
Okay.
And it allows you to basically measure your aura. And the thing is, the technology can measure EGG waves.
Okay.
So it's like how you can think something and then your phone automatically has it.
Right. Okay. Yes. So that's what it's picking up on.
Yes. So we were all taking our auras, and I know I've been compromised for a while, I've been, everything I going on. I got a newborn coming. Business is still fantastic.
Yeah.
And my aura came up like 5 different colors. Usually the more colors you have, the less grounded you are.
Oh, okay.
And I pointed to our friend Kyle and I said, Kyle is the most neutral thing is. And the crazy thing is, it was only because he worked at oh God, what are they called? Morgue.
Oh.
So he has this way of just talking calm about anything. So like we're having a full-blown conversation and he just throws in like, oh yeah, there was like a femur that like this lady. And so
casual femurs.
Exactly. But because of the way he's able to stay in that zen on everything, like he doesn't have a high low, it's a steady pace. Right. I immediately told them, I said, he's gonna be the most zenned out. He's probably gonna have a blue aura, and sure enough, his stuff was blue.
Wow.
And so I'm like, so whether it's true or not, I feel like there is some evidence showing.
Yeah.
I feel like we should take it after.
I would love that. What is it called again?
It's Arla. I'll post this for you. I'm not endorsed by them. There's no
We're not sponsored. I
have no promo
we have no
code.
Sponsors yet. We're looking for sponsors.
I actually did direct message them. They didn't respond, but it was only because I wanted to give a discount to everybody. And but yeah, of course they ignored me. This app, we already know. Either that, it's the government, just
period. I mean, the algorithms are the government, in my opinion.
Oh yes.
Period.
100%. So this is the whole thing. We go over this, and if you guys get the book Transhumanism, Transcendence, it's basically the agenda of 2030, where the government wants you to go through transhumanism and wants you to not transcend. So that's the whole thing of AI. AI wants to become human. So the more we focus on AI, the more AI becomes like us, and it's game over at that point.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's like, it's making me think of these fork in the road moments where I was speaking, I think today when I was on the boat with my friend, about like, everything is these choice points that we reach, right? We're always reaching choice points. Wow, that's a tongue twister. And they know that. They know that is the organic nature of this reality, is to have these choice points. So if they can nudge you to the choice that they want you to make, then that's how they technically control the reality, because by all means and purposes, we are still the ones that are controlling the reality. So in order for them to have whatever agenda they want to have, they have to constantly be nudging us, constantly, because every intricate choice puts us like on a different trajectory, right? Every micro choice. I'm holding my tea instead of putting it there, but there's a version of me that decided to keep the tea up where you put your tea. And they're on a totally different journey than we are, just from that one micro choice. So for me, there's a lot of appreciation for the energy that goes into crafting the control, because it does take so much effort to constantly be manipulating us.
Oh my gosh, yes.
In every fucking microsecond of the day.
And I think that it was always AI to begin with.
Has to be.
If you think about it, like, I mean, this might insult some people and piss them off, but if you look at how beautiful religion has been written, like, there had to have been some kind of artificial intelligence, because even right now, AI can rewrite the Bible, make it even more beautiful than it already is, and to make it that captivating to mislead you to thinking that it was real. And I know people are gonna be like, "What? Well, show us." Like, it's already been proven, and they're doing it now. A lot of these things are being done by AI, and that's what's truly terrifying, is that there's a blur now.
Well, it's like the loops, right? So I think we're kind of coming back to this space now where everything is really being reflected to us. So now that everything is being reflected, we can kind of have more of an opportunity to decipher and also see what is quote unquote true, because it's all there being reflected back to us.
So feedback loop. And that's like the law of correspondence, is you create your reality. So this plane of existence has a loop. The sun has a loop. Everything is looped.
Right. Loop-de-loop. Fruit loops.
There's just a sequence of loops. That's all it is. And now this is a big one.
Yeah, it's like the big, massive collective consciousness loop that's coming back in.
And that's why they have the whole years of Pisces, the years of Aquarius.
Like markers to let you know where it's at.
Yes, and so that's
when it's going to loop.
And there has to be this, how do I say this? It's
like a measurement?
So there's constant red versus blue.
Okay.
So it's all about energy. So there has to be some form of a give and take at all times. So we're either constantly chasing, or something's constantly
chasing us.
Running.
Or?
We're running from something.
Okay.
So that's just how the loop goes, the infinite loop. Everything. Okay. So that's why also, I mean, this is kind of, I don't know if this gives perspective, but like, if you look at a stadium, it's a motherboard. When you go to watch a game, there's the center stadium, and it's like a motherboard chip. On one side, you have the opposing team. On the other side, you have the other opposing team, and it's just an energy generator, and it's cycling energy.
Yeah.
So we recreate our own existence through the most smallest experiences that we can't even fathom.
Right. Micro, macro.
Yes.
Right.
And it's the awareness of these things that starts to intrigue us and pull us and slip us into these places. And it's like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah. Being mesmerized by the loops, basically. Yes. Yeah. But then perpetually creating more of what you're mesmerized by, because where your focus is where your energy is going. Right. And so then I think about people who are always like, bad things are happening to me all the time, or like, explaining to you their day, and they're saying all this stuff happened. And for me, from the perspective of knowing that these are loops that we are creating, and that our energy is literally creating this perpetual loop for us, it makes me sit back and I'm just like, I just so many times want to say, you created all of that. Look how beautifully you created all of that. So if you don't want it, you have to stop paying attention to it. And that's so counterintuitive, right? Like going back to the idea of having an ego, it's really counterintuitive to not pay attention to what is happening in your external world.
That's why we explain to people it's ignorance. Ignorance is ignorance of the truth. And they're just like, wait, what? And it's also just life, death, and rebirth. That's a loop.
Yeah.
And it's like you go and you have a kid, you're creating the loop. We're prolonging our own existence. And I think just with this agenda is they're going to win inevitably. They want us to be looking at our phones. That's what it is. So like how I have that branded deal with Apple and Google making my own app. So if these kids are going to be focused on their phones, I'm going to have to try my best
get in there,
and try to divert them and save as many people as I can. So when they read the things that, that will try to impact them away from AI and also away from this transhumanism thing, it's like we have to play their game, beat them at it.
In the game itself.
And I think, and this is another thing I was going back to, it is, this is a game. This is really a game. We're waiting for the one. We're waiting for a Jesus. And the thing is, what they've done with the Bible is they've created it to where you can wait for the Jesus to come. But the truth is, you are the Jesus. But in the whole, like the movie The Matrix, Neo is the one.
Right.
And it's not that I'm the one or he's the one or you're the one. We're all the one. But we're waiting for someone to unshackle themselves to the level of what will ascend them out of this plane and be that beacon, because we're on that. We're touching it. But we're just waiting for someone to get there. And that's what this game to me truly is unshackling the mind in a physical way that will bring the element of Jesus or all of these mythological beings that of representations, whatever it might be. Just we're waiting for someone to achieve that level of consciousness in the physical realm, and that's what I think they're waiting for, and I think that's why they're allowing these horrible things to happen. That there has to be this tug of war, and without that resistance, diamond.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hate to say it because then they're like, what about the kids? And it's like, it's just me trying to make sense of what I'm experiencing.
Right. I mean, isn't that what we're all doing? I think that's like the eternal journey of this game, is to just try to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Exactly.
And what does it all mean? Everyone's always trying to give meaning to things. And I think we can get lost in that perpetual loop. And that's why a lot of people lean into religion, because it does give you structure. It gives you a story, and you just align everything that's happening to different parts of the story. And that kind of helps in a way. I can see how people can feel more grounded when they have something like that to anchor into. Even if it's a completely false matrix that's created to control you, it still in some way can help people to feel grounded on their journey, because as we know, everyone is on different stages at different times. And so we're never all going to be at the exact point in our journey with the same lens. Like, that's why we're in different bodies. Like everyone's, I'm sure you know this reference, but the reference of the lens, just to share it with everybody, if you think about everyone looking through like an actual lens on your glasses, and your lens is basically glasses made with sand, right? So each grain of sand is an experience that you've had, or maybe even something that's carried over in your lineage. So through the blood and the DNA. So not even my technical experience in this body, but all the experiences, the culmination of experiences that create my lens. And then it's adjusted each time I have a new experience. So my particular lens, I'm never going to see anything the way that anybody else sees it. I'm only going to see it through my lens, right? I think we even talked about this.
Yes,
maybe.
I talk about we're looking through the universe through a keyhole, each of us. So like the fact that I'm sitting right here and I see myself, but how she sees me is a completely version of her own creation.
Yeah.
Because she's projecting a collective, I guess. How do I even say this? Because the way our eyes work is we're projecting this. So there was a thing like, if we all turn around and face some this, and at the end of the day is if it disappears, then is that theory right? But the thing is, that means eyes on at all times,
right?
So I think that at this where we are is something's watching all of us. It has to be. And it kind of gives you the whole imagine being a fish in a fish tank,
right?
And someone walks up to the fish tank and taps it, and you're like, look at the little fishies, and then we're just inside as these fish. Like, did you just see what am I what is this?
Yeah.
Tongue tapping the glass. Like,
yeah,
it's something that is beyond our comprehension, but at the same time it's like there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so funny because I am always thinking micro, macro, micro, macro. We always hear this. The chicken before the egg before the chicken.
Oh yeah.
Right? That whole inner where we're trying to make sense of it, but like you said, it's so far beyond our comprehension, or even that we can use this language that we use to communicate to actually express what this thing, this existence is, and the understanding or understanding of it all. And so I think I was in Seattle and I took, not a heroic dose, but a hefty dose of psilocybin. And I just got this message that was basically like, I'm always with you and I'm always watching, and I immediately thought of this idea of us being in like our physical bodies, which is our closest reference. And we have all these cells and all these systems that are doing things and keeping us alive. And we've explained it in books and people have cut us open and researched it, but do we really understand? Like the way that I think about it is like the Minions movie. And they're like my cells are like these little minions, or if like dating myself, Fraggle Rock, like back in the day, like the Fraggles and that whole world of like these little beings that like have a whole world going on inside of us while we're just living our lives out here trying to figure out our world. So who's to say that we aren't the Fraggles inside of something else's body?
Exactly. It's
right.
It's that constant. See, this is the law of correspondence.
Okay.
Everything corresponds with everything. So like, when you can study all the religion you want. Okay. You study religion, you learn all these things. And then you get to Sumerian text. Sumerian text is like the most ancient thing that exists. And then you read these things and it says, oh, we're made in the likeness of the 7 Elohim. And the 7 Elohim correspond to the 7 chakra centers of your body. And we're hybrids from the Anunnaki and all of these different things. So
yeah,
there has to be some form of correspond, because that stuff I can make sense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a circus what's going on over here. Like with what they're telling us, like they're not lying about a few things. Circus. They're lying about everything. And then you don't know how to like even decipher it.
Yeah.
You don't know how to pull people out because the invalidation is rooted. They're like shackled in invalidation. Because by me trying to explain to somebody that whether the earth is flat or round, it's going to invalidate everything that they've experienced.
Right.
And it's like, well, what? And then it's like someone who's born into Christianity. And then it's like, okay, what if Jesus isn't a real historical person? He's a metaphor for something bigger. And even someone watching this right now, I know there's going to be people in the comments that are literally going to say, Jesus is our Lord and Savior. That's how it is. And Absolutely. The thing is, I can easily explain to you how it's all coming from predated myth. So my whole thing is, before you preach your religion, study other religions, see the correspondence between the religions. Like, we're taught to not go to other pastors. We're only taught to go to one path. Like, we're brainwashed to be stuck.
Yeah.
So you can have these limited beliefs, or you can unbecome.
Right.
And the unbecoming is what will give you that exhilarating essence of like rebirth. And the whole thing is, this process is a natural process. You're supposed to kill something that's internal and be reborn. That's the whole, what is that? The ego death, somewhat, whatever. There's an internal death that happens, and then you are reborn. But
like dying to yourself.
Yes. But what the system has somehow done is they've externalized everything. So we have a bunch of young people that want to physically die.
Yeah.
And that's not cognitively applicable. Like, it don't make sense. Like, why do I want to die? And it's not that you want to die. It's because you're given concepts and beliefs that are not yours.
Right.
And you're fighting your own self to control your own reality.
Yeah.
And that the highest version of you is trying to watch you and tell you, don't go that way, don't go that way. And if you're not attuned, you might get the earrings.
It's creating an internal war, basically.
Exactly. So you're a disturbed person, not because of you, but because of what society has done to you. But that's the most liberating feeling, is the unbecoming. You unbecome what society, you just wake up one day.
Yep.
And you're just like, what?
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.
Exactly. This is a reason why when I, with my web courses, a lot of people Like I'll have a conversation with them and they're good. They're just like, wow.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And it's all it is they're trying to find the door. People are seeking the door. I get them to the door. They walk through it on their own.
Yes.
But the thing is, there's a lot of people that you're going to come in your life. And there's a lot of people that are going to come to you.
40. Keep it 40. Keep it 40. Keep it 40.
There's going to be a lot of people that come to you and basically you show them, you're going to be like, I have this freaking door.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be like, what? And they'll be oblivious to it. They won't even want to go. They'll run.
Right.
And it's because of the invalidation is actually like
isn't that what cognitive dissonance is?
It is cognitive dissonance.
Like your mind is actually engineered in a way where it will reject something that's right in front of you if it doesn't align with something that isn't already neurally pathwayed in.
So like, think of it this way. You say the earth is round. CNN, all the news media outlets say earth is actually flat. There's going to be people and all of these facts come out that the earth is flat. All of these people that believe in globalism fall because you're actually paying homage to Baal, however you say. I mean, I shouldn't be mentioning that on the stream, but you know what? I'm protected.
We're going to clear the space.
And just what you're going to realize is that you can't, that's just their choice.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, it's, I guess it is mean when I say this, but I say when people follow Jesus, Jesus was a shepherd and you're going to be herded like sheep. You're going to be herded like, that's the joke. That's the joke of the government. They're laughing at us falling for Christianity. And the thing is, there's a reason why when you go to India, Hinduism has Krishna. Krishna is a cow herder. It's the same make and model.
Right.
And then the story of Enki and Adapa is the story of Adam and Eve. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be like, that's blasphemy. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I gave my life to Jesus. Oh, it's not about Jesus. It's about having a relationship with Jesus. I'm not a Christian, but I have a relationship with Jesus. Listen, you're taking fictitious hierarchy and you're making your own fictitious hierarchy off of a sub-fictitious hierarchy. You have to see the correspondence in that.
See, but that in itself proves that we are creators.
Exactly.
Like, look at that.
Oh my God. That's
period. We need a button. Where's the
We do. I need sound effects or something. This is the first video. We're just shooting it. There's no editing. It's just going to be straight raw,
real, authentic. You're welcome. Period.
We don't need like a $14,000 studio.
No.
We need authenticity.
We need authenticity because it's inviting people into conversations that feel comfortable, where it's just like we're hanging out, we're chilling, you know, and there's access for, it makes it more accessible. And I think that is the part that's going to unlock the doors, like you said, the keys, right? We all have different keys for each other. We all have different keys for different aspects of this reality. And in order to get those keys, you have to have conversation. Period.
There has to be a back and forth.
Yes.
That's the loop.
If you're not willing to listen, then you're never going to hear.
And that's the cool thing is people are like, oh, but you say that stillness is the key. Yes. Stillness allows you to internally listen.
How can I listen to you if I'm not still?
Exactly.
Let's unpack that one. The math isn't mathing. So what we have to do is practice the stillness, right?
Ooh, that was another one I was going to say too is numbers is an illusion. The whole math concept is I'm over here like, this man said that math isn't real. 10 fingers that say otherwise.
Cancel the show.
No, so what I'm saying is that biblically speaking, at first there was the word, but the word was not words. It was zeros and ones. And
so the word was like code?
It was code. That's why we could be in the most advanced algorithm.
So what is AI then? AI is us. We are AI.
Yeah. So this is the thing.
We're artificial intelligence.
We're gods. We're God. We're
creations of God.
We're the natural creation. It's
organic.
Like, it's the organic, natural, godly, perfect thing that's made.
Okay.
And then we're over here like making computers. and we're doing all the things trying to recreate God. That's this internal
micro,
cycle.
macro,
Yes.
right?
And it's like, who's all seeing and all knowing? God is. But guess what? We are too. But we just don't. We're not tapped in like that.
Right.
So this is what I was saying, going back to the one, and this is also the correspondence to like the Matrix, zeros and ones. It's because at first there was the word zeros and ones is just male and female. So sorry, there's not 96 different genders. You can have as many personalities, be a lampshade and have a light bulb. You know, it's
well,
whatever.
Duality. So understanding duality, right? There has to be the yin to the yang. The opposites is what creates existence. Like there is no light without darkness.
Yes. But the thing is,
but does that invalidate that darkness exists?
No, it's not. It's darkness is without light. Darkness wouldn't exist. But the thing is, that's why they say, darkness isn't real. It's just the absence of light. I mean that.
But then you can also say that light doesn't exist. It's
the absence of darkness. Yeah,
right.
exactly. But that's the thing is people like, and then you say it back to them and they're like, wait, what? You know, they don't hear. So this is okay. How do I say it? Something just clicked in my head.
Okay.
People, they're like, how do I understand the law of correspondence? How do I understand it to a deeper level? The best way I can put it is, just bear with me. The ocean is the soul. I know some of you have heard me say this. The ocean is the soul. You take the cup, you scoop out some water. The cup is the body. Inside is your unique soul.
Okay.
Now, when you die, water goes back in. We're all the sea. We're all source.
Mm-hmm.
But now this is the thing is when we look at it, say, hey, this is my body and my soul's inside my body. And I'm running around here. But on the correspondent side, you must have this other perspective of what if my body is inside my soul?
Wait a minute.
What if my body right now is inside my soul? What if we're inside our soul right now? We're just
kind of like what I was saying, how we're like inside of a big.
Essentially that too, yes.
Okay.
So, but it's more than that. It's what if this is the soul and we're just like, that's why we have this function of just, I don't even know how to explain it really, but there's a corresponding, I don't know if you can see the picture of what I'm painting though.
I'm trying to see it.
But do you see how there's two sides of everything?
Right.
And we have to have some form of like optimism of like, when I say it's beyond our comprehension.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yes. So like I could be right now, I could be my body. I'm operating my body inside my soul. But the thing is, when I say soul is, my soul's not in here. My soul is everywhere. Do you see that?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it described by Savan Bomar about like our soul is being projected because if everything is light and frequency, right?
There we go.
Our soul is being projected into the body. So technically the soul is the all. So it's out. It's technically for us to comprehend, it's external, but these bodies are inside of whatever it's, you know, the locale, the location in which we're being projected into.
And this also plays homage into, is that even the right word, homage?
Sure.
This is why your thoughts are omnipresent. So when I'm thinking of something and then she's like, that's what I was thinking. We finish each other's sentence. Somebody's staring at you and you feel that intent and you look. It's because you're staring at yourself. Right. You just don't realize it.
Reflection.
But that's reflection. Like, it's all different experiences. We're allowed to, one, it's beyond our comprehension.
Yeah.
But it's, of course, we're struggling to comprehend it at all times.
Yeah.
It's something that's right in front of us, but yet we can't grab it.
Do you feel like that is a conditioning? Like, okay, you have a new baby that's coming in and it's always so fascinating to me because it's like every time a new baby comes, I feel like we have this opportunity to like not condition them with all the programs, like see if we can create this little like cocoon of like safety to just see what they come in with without influence.
Yes, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that because I know he responds to me without words.
Right.
Straight thought. my hands on him. Like I subconsciously have my hand on her all night.
Okay.
And he kicks when I tell him to kick sometimes. Like I'll ask.
There is a communication happening.
Yes.
And there's a physical response to the communication.
Yes.
Already.
And it's like, and it's even her, like she just put her hand like a heart on her stomach. And when she did that, and she just imagined all like the happy feelings of everything that she's experienced and that she will experience with him, pour into him, he just starts
fluttering.
Yeah, he just starts yippee, just going yippee.
Dude.
So it's like, so there's just
that feels real.
And it's not just that too. I know when he was mad at me because she was mad at me.
Whoa.
And I could sense him more than her, but I put my hand and I could feel his aggression, like, get off, like, don't touch her.
Check my mama.
Yeah. And he was like kicking my hand up, like, get it off. Like he was literally, and I was like, what? But I felt it was more of a hostile, like, just like keep your energy because you need to fix whatever you got.
Right.
And then I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
But I sensed it and I understood immediately.
Right. So the intelligence is there.
Yes.
And it's unfiltered and it's unprogrammed, if that's even a word, right? Because he's not out here yet. So then what are we missing? Because the reason I'm bringing it up is because of our lens, like I was talking about earlier, we have programs and we're just doing a lot of work to decolonize our minds, to unprogram, to break the shackles.
Yep.
We have to do all this work to basically go back to how we were originally, our most organic state. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, I know that like school systems and everything is conditioning to tell you what to think and to take you away from how to think, right?
Yes. I can add to that.
Please.
So what I explain in is understanding the law of awareness. Mm-hmm. And in the law of awareness, no action will come from a non-belief. So if I don't believe that I can do something, no action will ever go into my life from that energy.
Okay.
So if I don't believe I can lose 20 pounds, no action will go to that.
Right.
Because of the belief. So now get this. In the law of awareness, whoever gives you your beliefs and concepts control your actions. So at the end of the day, when you wake up and you realize that somebody else has given you your beliefs, they've given you your concepts, and they've been dictating your actions. And I've said this before, and this is why when you say someone's brainwashed, you're like, you're brainwashed. And they're like, no, I'm not. And it's like, who gave you your beliefs and who gave you your concepts? Right. And then they're like, oh. And it's like, and then they realize. So the whole thing is limiting beliefs is the illness. Is the zombification of our society, because the conclusion is having a belief is actually detrimental to your experience. It's detrimental to your reality. You believe in Jesus. I know in myself. So when I talk to people, I only talk about what I know. Yeah. It doesn't make sense for me to put energy in beliefs and concepts. I know that I need to be a loving individual. I know that if there was a Jesus, he might not have been the Jesus from the Bible, but if he did exist, he just taught love and enlightenment. Yeah. That is a conclusive thing that I can comprehend. So then I can look at all the mystical, mystics, shamans, whatever they might have been, Buddha, all of them. Okay. Yeah. They all just preached love and enlightenment. Yeah. Even Bob Marley, love and enlightenment. Literally. He's just, that was his reinforcement.
It's the amplification of a particular frequency is really what it is, right? Because I mean that translates through language, through time, through
that's what we call it. We call it Christ consciousness. Yeah, it's simple.
It's a frequency, and we've been prophesied that it would come back,
and it is.
And here we are.
Yeah, and people are like looking in the sky, waiting for some projection of Jesus, when the reality is, it's you, right? And it's you becoming conscious of your actions. So the thing is, people want to blame something and not be accountable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the responsibility factor is a big part of it.
And this is kind of what set a lot of people off when I said this. And I said that if I went to a Walmart and I got shot and killed there, it would be my fault. And the reason why it would be my fault is because we are all seeing and all knowing. You ever get a gut feeling that something bad's going to happen, and it happens, and you're just like, oh God. It's our jobs to listen to the higher intuitive parts of us. It's our job to keep our temple clean, abstaining from meat. I'm sorry, no matter what you say, it's a non-negotiable. God, whatever God is, God's source is love and enlightenment, pro-life. There is no death. And I feel like to find that element is just, it just creates controversy, invalidation. Well, you know what? Me having a kid and like, let's see the natural things. My son's not going to like come out of the womb and just want to go kill an animal. You see, there was a natural way to live, and we've been brainwashed with.
Well, it's the necessity of, again, the perpetuation of life that caused us to have to kill. So there's, so in that sense, yes, I can understand why what has been this aspect of killing, because in order for people to survive at certain states or in certain environments, they did have to take a life. But there was it's the ritual and the intention that I think has been removed. And then that's where the conditioning comes from, because like, even just sitting with, somebody that I know, who I'm not going to say, what I was talking about my food habits, and their whole family is like fascinated with how I eat, because I eat intuitively, and I'm a vegetarian, if you want to classify a category or genre, but I just genuinely, I eat intuitively. And intuitively, I grew up eating, pork, beef, everything, whatever my family fed me, right? I mean, I'm a Hawaiian, so we eat kulo pig, and it's a traditional thing, but my body started to talk to me because I was asking it to, and I started listening more. And the more that I listened, the more they were like, okay, well, if she wants to know, then we're going to let her know. So then I get the nausea, or I get the discomfort, or I noticed my mood was changing and I couldn't control my emotions. The dis-ease. Exactly. Yes. So before I let it get to the point where it's a disease and I actually have to like do things to fix myself, I start listening and tuning into the little nudges, the little nuances, and the little shifts in my mood, and realizing that I can change that by not participating in the practice of torturing and killing my food.
It's really simple.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this whole carnivore, it's reflected in the way they look. Like, you see people that eat meat, like you can see it. And the thing is, we want to remain as youthful and in this element where we are thriving. The thing is, it's like, well, I don't want to live forever. It's because you've been trained to think that life is this essence of whatever, of what you're experiencing. So of course, yeah, you're going to want to die when you get to 50, or you're going to be okay. But I guarantee when you get to that point, you're going to be like, oh, just give me a couple more years, please.
Right.
And that's the funny part of it, is you don't want to reap what you sow. And then that's also the whole thing coming back to responsibility. You are the choices between your actions. There is no, listen, there's a whole thing of blaming demons, blaming our angels, blaming God, whatever.
Externalizing everything.
But the honest truth is, you either are virtuous or you are viceful. If you serve the virtues, you become angelic. There's a reason why you go near somebody and you get good vibes and warm fuzzies, and you're like, wow, I really like this person. Or you go near someone and then you're like, oh, like you're
or you get tense, or you feel tight.
You feel tight, and it's because they're serving the vices. So that's why my whole slogan is serve the virtues and abstain from the vices, and you become an angelic frequency.
That's just the path.
Yes, that's the path. And it's simple. And it's also back to the whole disease thing. Is, I know you guys, I've been hit with a RICO. I've been attacked for basically practicing medicine without a license. But I kid you not, I have over 300 individuals that I've helped. Not even intentionally, it was from my web course. They read some things. I gave them the facts from the holistic side and the Western side, and they basically were able to see the syncretisms and figure out the truth. It's exactly how I want to perceive it to people. And the conclusion is that there are two sides of chemistry: alkalinity and acidity. And acidity promotes cellular deconstruction. That's why medications are petroleum based, and none of it is. It treats the symptom. On the alkaline side, and for the record, it's like, you can just throw all my blood pH, my stomach pH levels, throw it all in the garbage, because like, it insults my common sense. Like, you can't eat things that are natural and have it mess up your gut microbiome pH and it to send you to the hospital and you die.
Right.
Like, you're eating things from the land that are non-GMO, organic, and you're promoting cellular reconstruction of your body That's how you get rid of the dis-ease.
Yeah.
All of the words that I can't even say on here.
Right.
And just to be clear here, we're talking about Latin terms. If I have some water in my lungs, they call the Latin term. Like, I can't say those words apparently now. I'm on restriction. But you know what? For you guys, I'll let a Floridian. What is it called? Floridian slip.
Freudian slip.
Whatever it is. But I'm gonna say this. I talk to a lot of doctors. I know my stuff. It actually is very simple. They overcomplicate it because your health is a business. It's a multi-trillion-dollar business.
Period.
It's if you want to. It's not even like just the information that I give you is to alleviate the stress of the potential things that you could endure when you get older. And that right there adds years to your life.
Yeah. I just heard a conversation on a YouTube video, which I won't name, but they were talking about like, why is scarlet fever coming back and why is leprosy coming back? And his explanation was, he's like, they never left. It's all the same thing. He's like, all disease and they just found all these categories of names so that they could create particular medicines to cure the particular symptoms and trace back where that particular thing was initiated to like really set off the alarms. But if you take it all back to the baseline, all disease in the body is the same thing.
It all comes from mucus. And what's his name? Dr.
Sebi?
Not just Dr. Sebi. Because I got fact checked and I had an article written about me from Facebook.
Oh, congratulations.
Telling me that I was
I was make it actually.
I know, well, they were saying that I was promoting misinformation about how all diseases don't come from mineral deficiencies. You have to understand a disease stems from mineral deficiency because organ functionality comes from how much minerals your body has.
Right.
So just or
how much mineral access you really have.
So if you guys look up Dr. Linus Pauling, he is he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He says exact thing. His conclusion, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for this.
For his research.
For his research, all
mineral-based.
All diseases come from mineral deficiencies.
Wow.
100%. And this is why I explain to people that you don't need vitamins, you need minerals.
Yeah.
Because if it's a vitamin, it's on the shelf, it's a petroleum-based synthetic thing, and most of it has hydrogen cyanide cobalamin. You have to understand this. This is the most genius thing they've ever done.
Okay.
B12 is the most important thing that we need, right?
Okay.
For the most part. B12 is found in what? Steak, meat, red meat. People are like, oh, I feel amazing. You can get that from all different forms of seaweed, sea moss, seaweed, all the greens, the water greens have it.
Okay.
And now what happens is they put this synthetic B12 hydrogen cyanide cobalamin. So like, when people go vegan and they're like, oh, I need to get my B12 supplement. Guess what? It's hydrogen cyanide cobalamin. When I say hydrogen cyanide, yes, I'm talking about the movie James Bond, You'll Never Take Me Alive, bite the tooth, the foaming at the mouth. This molecule is so intuitive, it doesn't know how to even leave the body. So what it will do is it will bind to light metals and minerals in the body and strip you of them upon exiting.
Whoa.
So you're taking vitamins and minerals that make you deficient. And it gives you some kind of chemical reaction in the brain where you feel like, wow, I feel good after taking all that vitamin C. Vitamin C is laced, it's all hydrogen cyanide cobalamin. It's a chemical reaction. What do you think eating McDonald's, what is that? Taco Bell, Burger King, it's fake food, but somehow it stimulates you in such a way. It's because it's a reaction in your brain.
Oh, right.
You're not
so it's giving you a chemical reaction in your brain. So you're feeling like, oh, I'm full or I'm got what I need from food because I ate, but technically.
But now let's rewind all the way because you can get the perspective of what I'm trying to preach here so I can shake it into you. You create your reality.
Okay.
So how you think and feel is what's being looped to you.
Right.
So they are manipulating your perception. So that way you are here.
Intending.
So this is my whole point is for those who have perspective, such as myself, no offense, we can manipulate those who perceive. And that's how a lot of these people make a lot of money. And so you're looking at all these corporations, they're manipulating the perception without giving you the perspective.
Right.
So all I'm doing is just giving you the perspective. So that way you stop perceiving things because you can see above it. You're taking a stand back and you see the full picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's going back to the teaching people. I mean, they even said it with Jesus, right? Teach a man to fish instead of giving him a fish. But they just keep giving us things instead of teaching us how to do it ourselves. Because when you teach somebody to do something, because we all have different lenses and different keys, we're going to actually get creative because we're creators, and maybe even take that and compound on it and expand on it and create something totally different.
And make something freaking 1,000 times better.
And they don't want that.
Okay.
And they can't control it.
I'm going to shout this man out.
Okay.
I have over, as of right now, I have over 1,400 affiliates. There's a gentleman by the name of Revival Wisdom or Revival something. I'm going to tag him in here.
Way to shout him out.
People were tagging me in his videos and they're attacking him saying that he's taken everything that I am.
But
no, he's not my affiliate.
Oh, okay.
And this is the thing. He took a lot of my content, my exact make and model, made it better. And he made it better. He even uses the same thing for his university. He has a university. It's not even a university. He just has a web course.
Okay.
But I transformed mine into a university. I recruited other spiritual wellness people and I collaborated with them to give them a platform so we can all have this unique idea.
Okay.
But this gentleman took me and how I do everything, and he recreated it better.
Wow.
So when I'm watching these videos, I don't understand how people are upset at that. We're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Right.
I want my son to stand on my shoulders.
Right.
And I'm not saying this man is my son, but when I look at everything he's doing a better job.
Right. It's beautiful.
And that is what I want.
That's the goal.
I want nothing less than that. So when people thought I would be upset about him taking my flow or whatever it is, like, I'm not in competition here. We're on the same freaking side.
He's amplifying the frequency that you had already been emitting.
Exactly.
So thank you for doing that.
And shout him out. I'm shouting him out. Give him a follow. And I'm already talking to him. I've been in his DMs. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm a fan of you. Waiting for him to follow me back. Because I know he's seen me. Like everyone, it's very obvious. But I love that. Like now I want to collab with him. I want us to work together. Like that is like, it's like he's my twin.
Totally.
Almost, you know?
Yeah. Going back to the reflection, right?
Yes, and he's doing a better job at it. You know, I've been lazy. I have to admit, I've been lazy. I've been slacking. And this man, like,
Thank you for, it's like the relay race.
Exactly.
You handed him the baton and he actually ran with it.
Oh, he did.
And so now we can all win the race.
I think it was in less than a month, he got like 270,000, almost 300,000 followers on Instagram, on TikTok. And on Instagram, I think he's at like almost 100,000 followers or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping by the time that this gets to you, that you've already dusted that and you're even further beyond.
Marketing, period.
Because the whole thing, I'll be honest, I'm going to say this.
Okay.
I want to spew out as much as I can, as much as I know, and you guys to make it easier to digest and ways to communicate it. So that way I can just relax. Like, I'm tired.
I'm trying to relax.
I'm tired, man. I got a son coming.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys they're well off. Like 1,000, I have 1,000 affiliates. And I'm like watching some of these, like I got 13-year-old kids that can edit content 10 times better than I'll ever even. He's just like, yeah. And then it's like, they're doing it for free. But I try my best to just like, I know you guys see my university and how it does bring in a lot of money, but I'm telling you, at least 30 to 40% of it actually goes back to the affiliates.
Yeah. Which is so beautiful, and which is also the deconstruction or the decolonization of our minds, which is the lack mentality, right? Because if anybody's trying to protect anything, it's because you're tapping into the lack frequency. It's all infinite. You can't take anything from anyone if everything is infinite.
And you can actually see these things like, I'll be real though, when I look at day traders.
Okay.
And this guy makes $200,000 in a day sometimes. Like I was watching YouTube videos on it and I'm like, you know what? Like I would love to make a little extra money. I mean, I'm making good money regardless, but it's like that. I think that's how we get tested. The universe tests us, you know, and I feel like I'm trusted with all the money that I'm getting now because God trusts me, or the universe trusts me to do positive things with it. And it's like, I'm sure I could get more, but then will I destroy myself in that process?
Well, God is where you.
Exactly.
You have given yourself permission to acquire a certain level because you have built enough trust with yourself.
You know what? That is feeling, having the, how do I even say it? The arithmetic or the algorithm to become self-aware of that process is what will allow you to become a master manifester. Right there, having that. And the thing is, I do take a back seat sometimes, and I do give this power to my highest self, and I ask him, because it's like, that's a powerful seat. Like to have to do all the things that my higher self is doing right now. Like for me to simulate that.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be ready for it. And the thing is, I do feel undeserving. Like I'm not ready to be in that presence because I'm somewhat unworthy, but it's just a lack of the mindset.
Well, that's again, know thyself. I mean, that is the whole work. Like you were saying that experience, if you want to share about the deprivation tank.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Right?
Okay. So
what a perfect example.
That is a perfect example. I did a deprivation tank experiment. I took some shrooms and I did the tank, and there's a video on this that explains it so well, but I had my mind, body, and soul split, and I was the soul communicating with the highest self, and I was explaining to my past self, or this other, the physical form of, like, I should have all the information, because like we all channel information, and I know things, but something's preventing me from receiving more information because I'm not necessarily ready. And I have this urge, like I'm doing all the work. Like, just let me know the things that I need to know already. And
yeah,
I don't need to feel anything because he feels everything for me. And then my highest self says, well, that is you. You do feel. And then I'm like, and like, I'm crying. And like all of us come back together type of a thing. But it's just that whole experience. It's
of being the separate selves, but also you are all the selves. It's the same thing that they said in the Bible, right? The Holy Spirit, the Father, and the Son.
Yes.
The Holy Trinity.
Yes.
It was basically explaining what our existence is. It was showing us exactly who we are.
And now people are going to be like, well, then you say the Bible is the real thing. Then why don't you listen? The Bible is metaphysical.
We didn't say that it's a lie.
Yeah, we're not saying that it's a lie. We're saying that there's a lot of truth in its profound.
They're controlling the perception of it.
Yes. And it's not giving you the perspective. Like, think of it this way. The Bible endorses slavery. It does.
Let's start.
It's completely. And it's like, not even that. It's like, okay, well, then if the Bible is factual, then we all are born from incest. Right. Because we all came from the mountain of Caucasian, where Noah parked his boat. And how dare you mock Noah's Ark? You know, it's like, and it's like, we're all born. Like, do you see it? It's like, and if you read the original text, like, it tells you to pay taxes. It says you have to pay Caesar what Caesar is owed. If you can find the Latin text just says if you owe someone money, you just pay them.
Right.
It doesn't say anything about paying Caesar what Caesar is owed.
Caesar? Who's Caesar?
Yeah, who's Caesar?
I don't know Caesar.
It's like your cardinal. Like, what is
Period.
it?
The
pastor, like your tithing. Like, listen,
it's giving
great
nothing
to give to, feeling like you're like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
it's explaining the giving frequency is what it's giving, and an exchange where there's an exchange that needs to happen. So the responsibility is you give to receive, you receive to give, right? Again, the loop has to happen.
I'm like stumbling over my head.
Well, because it's so much information. And again, this is also an example of how difficult it is to like sort through the things and decide what is what so that you can feel each thing and feel the resonance so that you can know what is true or know how to pull the truth from within the lies, because it's all this game of like baiting you in a certain direction with the truth, like a little piece of the truth. Yep. But then I'm actually going to make you think this about it. And so this is what we perceive, the whole thing, the whole chunk that was fed to us with a little bit of like a dollop of truth. Raspberry jam is in the center of the cookie. And we ate the whole fucking cookie, thinking that the cookie was the thing, but the prize was the little jam. And you barely paid attention to the fucking jam. Yes. But that was actually the only thing you were supposed to actually get from that.
What I explain to people, you're going to miss all the stars just paying attention to the moon.
Right.
And at the end of the day, listen, the mission here is to get you out of an element of perceiving and more into an element of
resonance
and giving you a perspective.
Yeah.
Because once you get that perspective, it's you can't unwind. It's basically, that's what an awakening, the unbecoming. You see things for how they are, not for, it's like fact over feelings.
Yeah.
Like the truth hurts. And that's what the biggest problem in today's society is. You can't tell people the truth. You can't even tell them what the fact is, because there's an invalidation, there's pain, there's suffering tied to it, there's trauma. And that's why people build up a box of expectation, and then it blinds them to the rest of the true reality that exists beyond the expectation of what they've set.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into pain, because you brought that up. And I think that's a really important factor that people need to really start to digest. Is pain is a part of it. Pain, through the pain is where we get the gain. No pain, no gain. Because if you don't accept pain as a part of it, then that already is removing you from the acknowledgement that it's necessary. So then from there, now they've even taken you further back to where they're like, pain is bad, pain is wrong. So now you've even moved away further from it. So now you're avoiding pain. You want to get away from pain. And let's talk about the whole birthing, right? Birthing, the business of being born. The whole thing is to create this fear of pain. Everything is around fear and fearing going into the pain, but the pain is actually the door. It's the access to it all. Yep. And for women, my mom is a doula. She's now an RN. She works in the belly of the beast, in labor and delivery, and in postpartum. And she's seen it all. And she's shared so much with me about this important access point that we have in our creation and our existence, right? When we're born, and how they've basically created this whole thought, this whole school of thought that it's a medical emergency to just be giving birth. So that's why women run to the hospital. They don't want to feel the pain, right? You're terrified of it. And, this is not speaking from my personal experience. I'm not a mother. I've never given birth to a child. So this is just coming from an outsider's perspective of what I've observed through my mom's experience and what she's seen, and all the women in my life are all having this fear mongering that they get about how this is a medical emergency, it's almost as if birth is wrong. And so you have to intervene because it's something wrong, and it's this fight. And that's like the initial energy going into the whole process, when it's supposed to be this beautiful thing where you're accessing this point of pain that is actually a fucking portal.
Exactly.
And if you are trying to avoid the portal whilst also opening a portal for a soul to come in, then what kind of distortion are we creating as we all come through this portal that was being resisted at the same time that it was opening? Like, there's so many different dynamics that are going on, where if we can just look at it as like a pain is the doorway, because there is something called orgasmic birth.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. And just for the record, I am having a home birth. My son will be born in the room that's right beyond this door. And we have this whole ceremony thing, and we're gonna be welcoming this soul through her experience
with ceremony, as it should be.
Yeah, and that's
right?
how it should be.
Right.
And it's just the doctors, they take the placenta, they sell it. Take the umbilical cord, they sell it. Like, you hear about all of this, like it's so the stem cell research that they do.
Where are they getting the stem cells?
No, they tell you this too. They get it from baby umbilical cords. And where do you think they get it from? It's America. We're conducting business everywhere. Right. There's a reason why
America's a corporation.
Yeah, America's a corporation, and there's a reason why only the people on Maui got like $700, but then Biden's like, let me get another 40 million or something. What is it, 40 billion or something for Ukraine? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense when we're
looking at it through the lens of, this is a government that's here to serve the people. And
yes.
No, but if you look at it as like a business, it makes a lot of sense.
It does. And it's the same reason why, like, there's no reason why we should be paying taxes when Pentagon has failed their audit for the 5th time in a row, misplacing trillions of dollars, of our tax money. And then they're asking us for more money. And then it's like, what? And it's like, taxes can't be real because they just print more money. It's a fictitious hierarchy to just keep you in your class. And the people that are fortunate to break out, we want to recreate that for you as best as we can.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not the important thing is not to be jealous, but to learn from us, because we're offering you all the knowledge that we possibly can. And this hierarchy is only going to last so much longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's crumbling right before our eyes in real time, which is beautiful. And it's unfortunate that it also, in the process, going back to what I was saying, pain, right? We're so conditioned to think that pain is something to avoid, that pain is something bad, that pain, it means something is wrong. And it's actually just a portal. And so every time we are faced with pain, whether it's on the micro or the macro, we are being invited to level up to another level, to go through a portal, to reach another state of consciousness, to reach the physical state. I mean, on all levels, it is an invitation. And so if we avoid it,
you're limiting your own ascension.
Exactly.
And this is why I explain to people is that the biggest revelation you'll ever have in your life is that your trauma happened for you, not to you.
Right.
And another thing when it comes to that is, it's like, I know women will look at it as like, I've been through some really bad things and I can't sit here and say that this happened for me. But on the plus side, what you need to understand is that I cannot become as powerful as you because of what you've had to endure.
Because your specific type of trauma that you've had access to enduring, let's say access, right? Mm-hmm. Not that you had to endure it, but you had access to a particular experience or level of pain.
And that's the law of correspondence. Listen, a tree can only grow as deep as its roots run. So the deeper the pain is rooted, the further you can ascend, the further the reach. And that's why I say it don't matter what you've experienced.
Look at these arms. Look at these arms. Reaching, baby.
Whatever you've experienced, no matter how grim, no matter how distraught, the deeper the pain is rooted, further you're able to transcend. And that's why there's limitations. Like once people understand, it's not even a limitation. It's just, it's a how do I say, what was I saying earlier?
I mean,
it's a perspective.
Yeah, it's a perspective. It's a belief. So what is a belief? A belief is just a thought that you perpetually continue to think and think and think and think and think. But a knowing is a resonance. A knowing is in your na'au. It's something that can't be explained with words. It's a feeling maybe, but there's something that tells you this is something I know. And so when you're speaking about, oh, I believe this or I believe that, start to pay attention to that is really how I started to breadcrumb myself out of certain perspectives where I was like, I'm even using a word that is casting a spell on myself to perpetuate this thought process so that I can hold on to an idea that was fed to me from an external source. No, I'm going to go from what is in here. And when I'm in here, I don't have to keep thinking it. I don't even have to remember it. It's just, it lives inside of me. And so it's always accessible. And when you start to tune into that, then it helps you to really decipher the entire reality. Exactly. I don't need anyone to tell me anything. They can say something and I can feel what it is. And even if it's conflicting and almost opposite of the words that they're using, there's something inside of me that's going to tell me what is truth.
So the biggest question I usually get, like that's a revelation right there.
Yeah.
You just experience. People are like, how do I get from here to there? So the way I explain it is it's the same, like I keep things simple. And it's the same concept when it comes to me manifesting my reality. I create conditions to create results. I don't focus on the results. I focus on the conditions.
Okay.
So say now the first thing you do need to look at is you write down what you believe in and you write down what you know. And then you try to find the correspondences between your beliefs and what you know, and you blend as much as you can to remove belief from your subconscious and your everyday actions.
So are you talking about like you'd make a list of like particular things that you like in one idea, the things that you believe about that specific idea?
Anything.
Or just
it can just be anything, whatever across the board, whatever comes to your mind, just write down the things that you believe in. Whether it's Jesus, it don't matter. Anything that you believe, you can actually write it down and then you can also correspond to the things that you do know. But the thing is you have to be able to know it. Like you have to actually like, do I know this or do I believe this? And once you can stop blurring the line between those beliefs and knowing, that's when you have clarity.
Right.
And so the whole thing is the fastest route away from that is throw that whole effing thing in the trash. And it's just, what can I do right now? Every moment of every second, what can I do right now? and just look at your actions and just focus on the actions. Don't even focus on what you believe or what you know. What can I be doing right now? Oh, I can be going to the gym. I can just do things. I can just sit in a state of being present.
You mean in making choices to empower yourself? Yes. Like, what can I do in this moment to empower myself?
I know I might be skipping steps.
Yeah.
But it's just keep things simple. Like there's like, who cares if the world is flat or if it's round at this moment? We don't really need to have all the clarity of things. We need to fix what we can fix and flow with that. And I promise you, when one thing starts happening for you, the rest just to come.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to,
you just need to get to the door,
the micro macro part of it, right? Because I think there's definitely been times in my life where I felt like the problems are so big, and now that we're in this age of information where you can literally access anything all the time, it can be overwhelming, right? It can be overwhelming to be like, wow, there's so many things that need to be fixed. There's so many things that are horrible and I don't want them to be going on anymore. How can I, in my little self, in my limited access, right, be able to make any kind of changes that will even affect anything? And then what that did for me, at least, is it catapulted me into the dark thoughts and into the darkness of just wanting to get out and end it all and not be here, because I feel like it's just too big for me to have an effect on it. And so if I can't affect it, but I know that all of this exists, then I don't even want to participate anymore. But what I had to evolve from there is knowing and understanding and becoming more objective and realizing that my own individual choices in my moment to moment, in my day by day, are actually affecting everything, because it is all connected. Everything is affecting everything in real time, quote unquote. And so the tiny choices that I make, like I was saying at the very beginning, if I choose to keep my cup on the shelf or I choose to keep it in my lap, if I have intention, if I move with intention, with even the smallest of decisions, thinking about the grander scale of things, then in that way, I am actually intentionally changing the entire universe, because I am a part of it. Everything that I do is affecting it. I don't have to have a big magic wand and become a giant and wave my wand and bibbity bobbity boo everybody.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to. And this is, I was going to go back to the making money thing. This is what she's explaining too, is the law of correspondence.
Okay.
If I'm making money, someone's losing money. There's always someone getting rich and someone's getting poor. It's just, that's the law of correspondence. Now, this is also when I was going back to people are day trading and they're making $100,000 a trade. And I was day trading crypto coins at this point a while ago. And what I realize is I'm taking from my own people. I'm participating in theft. And I'm not here to condemn anyone who day trades, but you look at these people who make $500,000 a day, looking at the bars and this and that. They're taking money from people that are negligent and they don't know what they're doing.
I don't know enough about day trading to really understand
it's not that.
what it all is. But
it's when people get absurdly rich, the money's coming from somewhere. So my whole thesis of what I'm doing is the only way I can have abundance is if I'm giving it back. So I'm just endless. I recycle people's money back to them to the best that I can, opposed to me like buying like Lambo, buying $325,000.
I see what you're saying.
So
okay.
These days,
so buying something basically, or spending, to me, like, let's go into the etymology of it, right? So if I'm spending something, that means that I'm actually, there's an end to it.
There's an end. Yes.
So if I'm buying something, like you said, for instance, a car that is going to depreciate the minute you buy it, right? Yes. There's an end to that. But if I'm using money in exchange,
yes,
then there's a frequency of flow that I've created with the money. And so it only grows and grows. And everyone that gets in the loop of flow with you, they grow and grow.
So this is why I was explaining to people, it's like, I wrote myself a check for $40 million.
Okay.
And that's like the Jim Carrey manifestation.
Yeah.
But the whole concept is that $40 million is going to be cycling through my community. It's not something that I have $40 million, and I don't want people to have that perception of it. And that's why when I was saying about the whole day trading, when someone calls a bunch of shorts, they're pulling money out of other people's pockets. Like that money's coming from somewhere.
That's the nature of it.
Yeah. So someone's getting richer while someone gets poor. So when I realized I was doing the whole day trading thing, and I was doing like 4K a day, I was like, this is amazing. I realized I was stealing from people that just didn't know what they were doing. And so I didn't want to participate in it, because how I get rich matters. So
yeah,
the way I started having this perception of is it's a herd mind mentality of wealth through spiritual wellness and evolution and ascension. So it's yeah, I can say it's a herd mentality, but it's all of us being like-minded. I shouldn't use herd mentality. We all are like-minded individuals, and we're all trying to get from point A to B. So by me pulling all this money, I'm giving you guys knowledge. You guys are paying me money, and in return, I'm actually giving you money. I'm paying you to spread this knowledge. Like, I have a perspective of the truth, and that's all you got to do is give it to people. And once they get a taste of it, whether they accept it or if they try to do something different, the seed's implanted. Because during the whole thing with COVID, when I was saying COVID, that we're going to get hit with a pandemic, people were calling me crazy. And the thing is, I just had to plant the seed, because so many of these people, like friends that I've had for years, they don't talk to me, they unfollow me, block me, whatever. But guess what? They all came back.
Wow.
So it's like, and I wasn't crucifying them over it. I understood why I would seem crazy. Like, I was watching, I've been viral. Geez, I've been banned 6 times on TikTok. And when someone, like, I have people that follow me now that apparently have been following me for the last like 6 years. And they're like, hey, look at this old content I still have saved on my computer. And they show me a video from 5 years ago. I'm like, bro, I was twacked. I mean, I wasn't wrong. I still called what was happening, but it's like I was twacked out of my mind. So I understand the perception that how it could be perceived.
Twacked. I like that word.
But it's awesome because they see what I've done.
Yeah.
You know, this is what Kanye said. He said that if you're walking against traffic by yourself, you're crazy. But if you're walking against traffic
with 1,000 people,
it's a marathon.
Right.
You know,
right.
And that's what we're doing here. We got to walk against.
So it's who's going to take that first step. And that goes back again to the whole Christ consciousness thing. Exactly. Right. There has to be somebody who's willing to like break the cycle and break the loop. And we even talk about that in our like micro versions of everyone's taking about the whole concept of breaking generational curses and how that's become so popularized. And I think it's because it's the same expression that can happen on the macro level, where you have to be willing to step out and really not care what people think about you in order to break the loops, because it is all connected and we are all connected. You are going to be an anomaly at some point. You are going to be the quote unquote crazy person, because these are the things we've created. Right. We're
all anomalies. This is what I was saying. Listen, we're all gods. We're all knowing. We're all seeing. We have all of that. But the thing is, you have to tap into it. And the system is waiting for someone to get from point A to Z, or however you want to metaphysically simulate it in your brain. Like, you really do create your reality. And I guess, I mean, I could use this as an example. They did this experiment with lots of animals where they took, in this particular case, they took rabbits and they pumped one side with cholesterol, and they didn't do anything to them. They just pumped them all with cholesterol. Most of them got some kind of cancer and just died. And then on the other side, they pumped them all with the same amount of cholesterol. They just played with them, and not one of them got cancer.
We're kind to them and loving to them.
Yeah. So the thing is,
the poor bunny.
The whole concept of being sick is a frequency of your mind playing a trick on itself, and you are falling victim to yourself through being manipulated.
Conditioning.
Yes.
We're all susceptible to conditioning. So why not condition yourself to be your greatest self, to be an empowered version of self, to be someone who believes things that are actually going to be working for you instead of against you.
This is why if you're sad, if you have depression, any of those types of things that you just feel defeated, it's self-inflicted. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to invalidate your life like that, but the self-awareness of what you're doing to yourself is what will snap you out of that. And a lot of people might just need to talk to somebody to get them there. And that's what I do.
Reflection.
They tell me whatever it is. The thing is, they're also seeking the answer. So you also have to want to seek the door.
True.
And if you're having a hard time, that's where I come in. I try my best to do that.
Yeah. And to be a reflection is really all that we ever need in every moment, right? But it's like, are you willing to look in the mirror?
And I apologize. I know I can sound so direct, like I'm an asshole. And it's not that I'm trying to come off like that. It's just that to me, things are simple, and I'm according to the westernized versions of doctors, I'm on the spectrum of autism. So I I the way I process things is I'll think about it, and if it's detrimental to me, I won't experience it on a metaphysical scale. I'll just on to the next.
Right.
So that's why people are like, is he a robot or is he?
Yeah, because your brain is constantly sorting out the options.
It's like I'm not gonna allow myself to be to I won't try to make myself weaker in that sense. I just want to be the strongest version that I can, and I'm trying to do that constantly.
So when you're saying that, and I'm going back to the thing about pain, does that mean that you're going to be avoiding things because your mind is able to sort things from a very non-emotional space? Then are you going to be avoiding chances and opportunities to level up because you're missing those portals?
So now this is the beauty of it. There's understanding. So I know through what I have to experience. It's like if I want to bench 300 pounds, I have to create the condition to create the result.
Okay.
So if I want my business to grow, I need to fix my business model. I need to fine tune it even more. I need to continue to do these things. So I'm able to put the energy where it goes specifically with intent. So it amplifies it to a whole nother degree. But also, like, when it comes to pain, you can feel metaphysical pain. You can feel pain on any type of level. But at the end of the day, when you get to, I'm not like some shaman. I'm not some, oh my gosh, I'm a mystic. I just have a certain understanding. It's no longer pain that I'm experiencing. It's just energy.
So at a certain point of understanding or understanding, there is less of a need to go all the way to the pain to have the portal.
You
can kind of be more of an observer of it.
Yes. It's not even that, it's you create it. Like when you truly have, this is all the concepts of awareness rising. You no longer perceive things. It's like when someone gives you the perception that they're mean to you, like call you stupid. And then you are like, oh, how could you call me stupid? So you've created a perception that but if I call you stupid and you laugh,
it changes the whole thing.
Changes the whole thing. I'm no longer mean. I'm just, what is it? So this experience is based off of energy. So pain, when you see, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just we're here to manipulate energy.
So that's what perception is reality really means. It's like how are you choosing to perceive everything moment to moment? And that's the creation of the reality.
And that's why if you can skip the perception and go straight to perspective, you're the puppet master. You're no longer the you're no longer the puppet. So, and I'm not saying that you're my puppets. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying that there are no.
There's just different levels of consciousness.
Yeah, and it's like, and I know people are like, "Oh, so you're saying you're better than me?" No, I'm just on this tree, on this branch over here. You're on your tree with your branch, and when I say that there's no strings on me, it's that I have unbecome myself enough to understand what this is, to where I can create what I want for me and the people around me.
Do you feel like there was a certain point that like it clicked? Because I feel like a lot of people will always wonder, like, again, the journey, right? The best way for me to try to give an understanding that is a metaphor that we can all relate to is manipulating the physical body, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been an athlete a lot of times in my life. I've been a personal trainer, a yoga teacher, a spin teacher, like all the things. So I've manipulated my body and watched how you can manipulate your body when you, like, again, you said create, how did you say it? You create the circumstance for the...
You create the condition.
You create the condition. Create the condition to create the result.
Yes. So you just focus on creating the conditions, and then the result will formulate on it.
So there is no effort in the result portion of the show. Yeah. It's just continuing to create the condition.
Yeah. So if I want to bench 300 pounds, I don't focus on the result of getting to that point. I just know that if I stay on this specific path, that will automatically happen. And then guess what? That's no longer results. I'm on to the next. So in all, you can just create conditions to constantly be ascending.
Okay, so let's take it to something that's applicable to money, because money is such a huge factor in everyone's life who's in this game right now, right?
So the way that
like, how would you give us a few tips on how you would create a condition in order to amplify your experience of the the result of having a lot of money.
Okay, so the first thing, it has nothing, like you'll see 1,001 videos on how I manifested all the money,
right,
this and that. So they distract you with that, but the truth is you need to manifest making yourself the best version of you,
the version of you that already has the result.
Yes. So instead of how do I say this, people they put all their energy where it's not supposed to be. You're putting your energy towards all this money when you should be putting the energy towards yourself and making you the best version psychologically through everything. Like, so I was broke. I didn't even think of money. And most of you know me from TikTok being on the crypto night. Now, this is going to sound like some far-fetched stuff, but I have all the videos that I talk about this. I basically was leaving my body, doing all this weird stuff. And
it's not weird stuff. So you were doing out-of-body experiences. You're practicing out-of-body experiences.
And I learned how to leave my body and watch people. And then I got a phone call. After I learned all this and I realized it was real, because like I'm watching my parents watch television and I'm just like, what? And I'm out of my body. So I know this specific meditation that I would do, and I talk about it in my
other videos.
My other videos, and also in my web course, I give you it's really simple. It's just lucid dreaming. If you mess around in the lucid state, you'll leave your body on accident. It's what happens. You do it every day. Boom, you'll leave. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, you're fully conscious in this other realm. And I basically was doing all these other things. Like I learned how to bring my energy to remote view. So I didn't have to leave no more. I could just focus and it pops me to wherever I want to look.
Whoa.
And so I was talking about it on Twitter, and my Twitter got banned. I got a phone call. The phone call was, hey, this is your social. This is where you live. You teach us how to do what you're talking about. We will trade with you in the information of, we'll deal with you in the currency of information. So of course I'm like, I need money, because I kid you not, I filed for bankruptcy. I was in a 4-year lawsuit with AT&T. And when COVID hit us, they just settled. And I got like maybe 1/10 of what I was supposed to.
Wow.
And I was like, it's COVID. What else am I going to do? I can't sit here and keep fighting them.
Right.
So I just took the loss. I filed for bankruptcy. I mean, $60,000 in debt, like gone from a bankruptcy. I was like, wow. And then the next week, all of this stuff happens. This is before the organization even reached out to me, but I'm leaving my body and I'm seeing things. And I was a pro video game player at the time. I was big on Twitch. I literally give away my gaming setup and I just start going raw vegan, start fasting, and I'm just leaving my body every day. And the next thing I know, I'm out at the gym talking with people and they're talking to me word for word exactly what I had a premonition of.
Whoa.
And I realized that I'm not dreaming anymore. I'm seeing the future. And so then
because when you're out of your body, you're not in time and space, right?
Yes. So now this is, I can see, what is
like the movie Interstellar.
Oh, I can do, so listen, I can quantify things just from my own experience to explain to you how it works.
Okay.
So now let me just, so I'm seeing the future. I'm seeing my highest self, because what's happening is your highest self is at the top of the mountain watching you in your timeline.
Okay.
And it's basically like, oh, don't go there. It's trying to direct you. And I just was my highest self at that point. And I could feel it. And then I had a vision of crypto. Solana made 6 figures in a week, putting $3,000 of the money that I got from me.
Wow.
And you know, I know a lot of people are like, prove it to us. I have all the, what is that called? The my
receipts
and stuff. Yeah.
You got the receipts.
Yes, I got the receipts.
We got receipts.
And I show it to you guys. And the thing is, it happened in a week and I had a vision of it. And then I had a vision about going on TikTok and going viral. So I went on TikTok the next day. I was 100,000 views or something, 12,000 followers.
So wait, give us, so when you say you had a vision, what exactly was that? Like, would it be perceived like the way that someone would say, I dreamt about it?
Okay, no, so this is what it is. Okay. So the way our energy works, you are in an indefinite now. That's time and space.
Okay.
This is an indefinite present moment.
Okay.
Now, your energy, however, is perceived in space and time.
Okay.
So how you can think of a memory because it's tied to energy. So the way what happened with Solana and what happened when I put in the crypto was me being able to sense the, oh my God, I could have made a bunch of, and that feeling of guilt in just like a deepened rooted, like I could have capitalized
So
on
the
this.
regret of the choice not being made.
Yes, cycled back to me before the event happened. And the thing is, I was so deeply in tuned with it, I translated in a full fucking vision. Sorry, my language. So I had a vision of it.
Dope.
And it didn't stop there. I had profound things happen consistently. So I'm not lying when I say this. If you correct your temple, and I apologize, you have to abstain from eating meat, you can create a condition to make it to where you can see the future. And the way I condition myself is I talk to myself yesterday every day. So my condition is I talk to him yesterday. I say, hey, today was a really good day. I could have done these things better. I basically explain myself to how my day went and what I could have done better.
Are you talking about an actual physical conversation?
I'm talking about a physical conversation. I'm sitting with myself right now and I'm talking to myself yesterday, whether it's in my mind, I'm speaking to him, I'm sitting down with myself.
Okay.
And I'm speaking to myself yesterday. And by doing that, I'm creating a condition. Now it's like, oh, so why are you talking to yourself yesterday? Is because I don't need to talk to my guy in my future because I'm creating a condition where he's talking to me. So now the energy,
you created the time loop. So now the loop exists.
Yes.
So now all throughout space and time space, that loop is going to be feeding back to you the information that you want and need to access from yourself.
And so guess what happens? I'm in a constant state of never being doubtful, never being afraid, never anything negative. You don't.
And are you talking about like even in your wake state, like from moment to moment, like right now,
even right now,
you know how this podcast is going to end.
Yes.
Because you can already perceive it because the loop, you've already created the conditions.
Yes. But now this is the thing though. And then it's like, I can look at it the other ways. I'm just creating it. Am I creating it? Am I just
egg for the chicken?
But the thing is, this is the whole process of what I'm going to explain to you. Your body has autonomic functions that you're not conscious of. So when I say I'm manifesting, I have now become self-aware of the autonomic functions. So now manifesting is not just manifesting, it's sting.
So does that mean, okay, let's go to the aspect of free will. Is there will? Is there free will? Or is everything already mapped out?
Nothing's
and we're just tapping into...
Anyone who says things are written in stone, I will say that God being all-knowing, all-everything, as it's being projected, it's all-knowing because it's an energy that's actually being projected back at us.
Okay.
So yeah, it's technically written in our own eyes because we've projected it.
So it's already happened.
It's already happened.
So we just have to tap into the frequency of what has already happened.
But it's not just what's already happened. I can recreate in different ways.
Okay, that's the part I want to get into.
So the way our minds work is your experience. That's what deja vu is.
Okay.
You're experiencing what's already
the feedback
happened.
loop.
Yes. And then so if you get into that constant state of deja vu, I know it's deep. It's deep.
No, I need this. Keep going.
And so that constant state of deja vu is what gives you, that's the God mind.
So is that where you feel like you live right now?
I can prove it by just simply measuring my brain waves.
No, you did it the other day when we were at dinner.
Yeah.
And the whole numbers thing, isn't that the same concept?
So, okay. So she had picked a number 1 through 1,000, and I didn't just pick it once, but I picked it twice. And now this is the stupid thing: is that people are going to be like, "Oh, he's
I typed it in my phone. I have it in my phone. You said type a number in your phone 1 to 1,000,
and I guessed it twice. Now the thing is, if you go to a baseball game and no one hits a home run, does that mean that home runs don't exist? That's not necessarily the best metaphor for what I'm saying.
Okay.
So if I had gotten it wrong, then what?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But the thing is, I did. So there has to be some sliver of something of it being real.
Right.
So because of that concept, I now know it is real. It's not I believe that it's real. I know it's real.
Okay.
So I have to find the conviction in myself to formulate my mind into a way. So, but no, I have.
Whoa, wait, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
So I have a brain graft that I wear, and I can switch my deltas and my alpha wave straight into being dominant. And I can sit in the alpha state or the alpha brainwave state, and that's creation. That's what they say is creation.
Right.
Whether it is or it isn't, I don't know, but I'm obviously doing something.
It's what they say. It's what the people say.
Yeah. So then it's like, now if I want $1 million by the end of the month, but the thing is I have to do it my own method. I'm morally how do I say
resistant?
this? No, if I want to make $1 million because of my own laws,
you're morally restricted.
I'm morally restricted from doing things
because it is accessible if you're willing to just do whatever it takes.
Exactly. I can,
but because of your own,
because of my own subconscious restraints.
That is actually the only limitation that exists.
Because I don't want to compromise myself. Right. And the thing is, myself knows myself, so it won't. So that's why some people have a hard time, because there's a certain aspect of them that might need to compromise.
Period. Yeah. Like I could easily make an OnlyFans tonight and make a lot more money.
Yes.
Than I have access to at this current moment. Yes. But because I'm not willing to make those specific compromises, I'm creating a limitation in my access. Yes. So how do I then create it from within my limitations, but still have access to things like, for instance, creating $1 million by the end of the
So this is going to upset a lot of people.
I love it. Let's hear it.
But when you do the inner work, you'll know. I'm sorry.
When you know, you'll know.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So it's like, what you need to do is stop complaining about what you don't have.
Right.
Turn inward and
become the person that has it until it is your physical reality. Period.
Joe Dispenza said it the best. Dr. Joe Dispenza. You become the experience. So this is another thing, like sickness. It don't matter what it is. The frequencies. This is why quantum healing is a thing.
Right.
Your vibe. This is why I wear all these damn crystals.
There's a lot of crystals.
That it pushes it helps your vibration flow to a higher state, which is another reason why I'm probably channeling all this great information right now.
Period.
But the whole thing of quantum healing is they help you raise your frequency.
Resonance frequency. Yes. You can only resonate with disease if you're on the frequency of the disease. So shift your resonant frequency and then the disease can no longer exist.
Exactly.
Because everything is operating on frequency. So that is the one law, right? It's that the frequency law. It transcends time, space, perception, belief. It transcends everything.
This is why being in a state of knowing is the most profound thing you can do for your existence. Because having a belief is the most. There's no like.
It's very fleeting.
What am I on? Like you. There's no grounds. Like there's
no roots.
Your subconscious. And so listen, you have your
dust in the wind.
You have your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and your unconscious mind.
Okay.
Your unconscious mind is doing all that it can to reach you on a very deep level through dreams, whatever it might be. So instead of sitting there, letting your unconscious mind try to reach you through your dreams or whatever it might be, go to your flipping unconscious mind. Well, how do I do that? Meditate. Meet them halfway. Meet it halfway. Meet yourself halfway.
Meet halfway. That's all I'm asking.
Do something to correspond your own experience in any way, shape, or form. Life happens for you, not to you. You see the glasses half full, it's half empty, whatever it might be. This is what I was saying. You're a soul inside a body. What if my body's inside my soul?
Yo.
You have to see the syncretisms. Like, that's what I'm trying to give you. If I give you the biggest perspective, I'm over here shaking you by your shirt right now. You're like,
I need you to understand, Roger. I need you to understand. I want you to be better, Roger. That's all I want for you.
And it's that. I just give you the perspective.
Yeah.
So listen. So what do? You set up your own laws. Like, I'm a slave to my convictions and not my emotions. Emotions. This is the whole concept of Jesus walking on water, is him walking over his emotions. But the true meaning is basically Jesus is the sun, and the sun reflects off the water, and that's why Jesus walks on the freaking water.
It's all metaphorical, baby.
And we're living in Egyptian mythology. That's basically why the sun is the sun, the Horus is I, Horus, moon, hormones. The sun dictates our male energy. The moon dictates the feminine energy.
Whoa.
It's like there's a correspondence to everything. And that's why when you start to see the threads, now I'm watching movies and I'm just like trembling, like like whoever's writing these movies, when you see the correspondences that they're making, there's angels making movies right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of it too is like people being used and they're not consciously aware that they're being used. Yes. Right?
You create a,
like I have an idea for this epic script, and it's like, actually, it's called channeling, and you just downloaded something. So please serve it to us, because you don't even know that you're being used.
Exactly. Like right now, you think all these ideas, everything is like, I'm rediscovering what is already there.
Period.
I'm just understanding the autonomic Akashic record. This is the reason why Akashic record exists, is because it's your file. It's your file. That's why life spells file.
In the infinite now.
See that file? F-I-L-E.
Because there is no time.
You like that? The life in the Akashic records.
I like it.
See, it's that's what upsets me.
It's right in front of us.
Right in front of you.
You just have to put your glasses and your, what is that called?
My pyramid hat.
Your pyramid hat.
Yes.
And it all comes through because it's actually just right here. This is just like what is it called? Not a medallion. What is it called?
I thought you were going to say
a totem.
Oh, there you go.
A totem to get your physical being to feel like you're seeing or thinking or tapping into something that is only accessible if you do even the crystals, like, right?
They say that crystals are demonic. Like, no, listen. I know what it does.
It's an extension of us.
Yeah, it's an extension.
So you're saying I'm a demon? This is what calling me a demon?
This is what I tell people. I'm like, it's like
you feel attacked.
It's like me putting batteries into a remote control to turn on television. It's the same freaking, like, it has its use.
Right.
And for Christians to be like, oh, crystals are demonic. Listen, this is a natural God-given thing that's on this source of earth. Whilst you go eat Taco Bell and McDonald's. Like,
let's normalize plant medicine. Let's normalize crystals. Let's normalize natural things that are naturally around. They've even demonized, quote unquote, the word natural.
Oh God. Yes, that's true. Yeah. They put natural with natural flavors. It's not even that. Yeah. Oh God. Listen, we're living in a fictitious lie, you know, whether they're draconians, reptilians.
It's even creative.
We don't even know.
We're living in a creative manipulation of creativity.
And these guys, there's whoever this is, they know what they're doing.
Master creators.
And at the end of the day, maybe this is a big social experiment for us to break out of. And they're gonna keep giving us, because you know how you see how fear is the portal, right?
Right.
Why do you think they keep fear mongering us? It's to keep this portal active. Whatever. Right. Who knows? Right. Everything I just told you guys for the last 2 hours, I just made up. Who knows if it's real?
You know who knows? Is this. That's the whole point. Every message has to come back to that. If you don't know this, if you don't know your inner voice, if you don't know the difference between deciphering the different voices, right? Like you were saying, you had an actual physical experience that reiterated the idea that there are different voices having a conversation within your own individual being all the time. If you don't know them, if you don't get to meet them, I mean, I even heard a concept of like actually giving things a name. There's this guy I follow on Instagram who's like this really contemporary shaman, and I love him. I wish I knew his name. We'll find it later and tag it. But he was saying how you basically give your voices a name. So for instance, let's say I want to manifest, let's go back to the $1 million at the end of this week. And so wait and listen to all the different voices and the different things that will come up in your mind, because you will have thoughts on that. So what are the thoughts on that? The thoughts that are going against that, because your intention is to create that. And then everyone's going to chime in with their opinions. Give them a name. So Betty always wants to come in. Betty is my frequency of lack trauma, whether it's my own experience, my lineage. She is the lacking bitch. She wants to tell me all the reasons why that's probably not going to happen, so that she can protect me from being hurt by it not being created. But in reality, I have to know that whatever I decide is possible. Whatever I can think is a possibility, or I wouldn't even be able to perceive the idea of it, right?
And I see Christians like, well, that's a demon. You're letting a demon possess you, and you're calling her that. I'm sorry. I'm like my impersonation.
Betty's a demon. Yeah. So that's fine. I know. I want to get to know her. I want to sit down with everybody.
Yes, because by you learning your devils, you get to learn your angels. That's the law of correspondence. You can only grow, a tree can only grow as deep as its roots run.
I want to know everybody. I want to know everyone who's in my head, having all this chatter. You're not going to be up in my body, having conversations, and I don't know who you are. I'm sorry, who are you? Betty? Okay, honey, you're afraid? You don't like lack. Okay, you think everything is not going to work out because you're comfortable in this lack space and you're trying to protect me. So, Betty, I'm going to need you to understand that I hear you and I love you and I understand that that sounds painful for you, but would you be willing to level up? What if we come together, we support each other? I acknowledge you, I see you, you're not forgotten. But what about if we come together to have an opportunity to go above that? Would you be willing to take this opportunity to level up right now? Betty's going to say yes.
So do you see that? There's 1,000 ways that you can give yourself perspective.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And that's, like I told you, we're just trying to give you perspective.
Don't shake their shirt.
Shake their shirt.
It's a cute shirt.
Fucking shake the shit out of them.
Don't shake anyone. You have to be willing to level up, which means you have to be willing to accept responsibility, which means you have to be willing to understand that that might mean you have to face some pain, growing pains. When we grow, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, it was physically painful. I felt physical pain as my bones and everything extended and became the 6-foot being that I am to this day.
I think I had the, when you hurt something and then you hit something and then you feel the pain over there, but you don't realize there's pain over here.
Right.
I had a lot of that happening.
Okay.
So I had an experience but I was blessed to become self-aware at a very young age.
I would say blissed, if you would allow me to offer you, right? Because we don't want to be less.
Yes, I always hear that.
Right?
Blissed.
Like even intending in the way that we use our words.
We're casting spells against ourselves.
Yeah, and I don't want to cast a spell against myself. There is enough people and enough forces that are working to keep me from being empowered. And then I'm going to also use my own words to disempower myself? No, that's what you got me fucked up. What I'm going to do is choose my words intentionally, even if it means, and this is a big thing that I think I'd like to share with people to encourage you to be willing to take the time to talk slower so that you can start to perceive your words and your thoughts before you actually let them out. And although it might sometimes make conversation be in a way where, depending on who you're speaking to, they might jump in and take it and you might not be able to finish your idea, at least you know every word out of your mouth was said with intention, was said with purpose, and it's serving whatever your intention was, rather than pouring the words out. I feel like so much conversation is just, you got to get the thing out, because you just want to say what you want to say. And I had this story and I got to tell you because, and then oops, as you think back, I shouldn't have said that. Filter. I wish I didn't say that. Or I overshared. Like the way that we can stop that. And I learned a lot of this in my yoga training, was not only to calm the voice, to calm the frequency, right? Coming into a resonance of relaxation, even noticing nuances in my body. Like when I'm speaking, is my neck tense? Are my hands tense? I'm paying attention to every part of my body. How am I delivering this message?
I'm all slouched up over here.
Right? Yeah. See? Like there's always a micro adjustment that can be made that can amplify whatever you're intending. And it even comes down to that. The volume at which, the time that you take, the intention in which you look at somebody when you're speaking to them or even speaking to yourself. I think that too is why it's so powerful to do the whole thing of conversations in the mirror. A lot of people that preach this whole idea of speaking in the mirror, like when you first rise and you go into the bathroom, looking at yourself and saying the things that encourage you to go into your day with intention.
I should give them the apple. So this is just for those who
are in the tech world.
No, so I think this is the best way I can give you perspective.
Okay.
So basically, just you take your hands out like this.
Oh, right. You just had me do that the other day.
You just go like that, and then you imagine an apple being in one of your hands, And the moment I think of it, I feel it in the palm of my hand. Yeah, it gets heavy. You feel like a tingly sensation. You go like that, and it's like, wait, there's something in my hand. I don't see it, but it's there metaphysically. There's like a tingly sensation, whatever it is, and you just go like that, and now it's gone. And it's like I thought it
applesauce.
Yeah, like I thought it was there. Like I made it. What is that? I made it manifest in the ethereal with the thought of my mind. So this is the whole concept of what I'm saying is wherever you put your thoughts, wherever you put that energy, it doesn't matter what it is. Why do you think they want you glued to your phone? Why do you think they listen, with between a male and a female, the highest calling for a man is to protect women. We're seeing that compromised in today's society because we have, men changing their sex to compete in female sports. And then what is a woman's highest calling? A woman's highest calling is to guide a man's heart closer to source. And instead, what do we have them doing? Their lowest calling, which is to seduce man. So what are they doing? They're being promiscuous online. They're half naked, OnlyFans, whatever it might be. But that's the whole concept. They've inverted everything that makes us powerful, and they're trying to invert it into our kids. Earlier they can do it, the more corrupt the adults will be. You see you see this? Regardless if Lucifer or the Satan, however, Satan is a collective of negative consciousness, however you want to perceive it. But the highest form of worship in Luciferianism is the inversion of God's will. And what we're just looking at is
God's will is
love and enlightenment. It's simple. Authenticity, the higher qualities of life. He wants us to choose life. He wants us to choose love. He wants us to bask in the Garden of Eden. He wants us to thrive. Like, think of it this way. Do you really think as a creator, you create something? And I'm sorry to the people that feel this way, but it's like, if I created something and they were like crying for me to save them, it'd be, that's kind of sad. Like, I want my creation to, it's pathetic. I'll be frank. I want to see my creation stand on my shoulders. Like, I want to see them thrive beyond anything. Like, so why it don't make the whole concept of reality of this whole thing, I need to be saved and we need to serve, it's not that I'm here to serve God. I'm here to serve virtues and experience reality, but then I'm also here to spread love and enlightenment, which is the frequency of God.
So what if, let me be devil's advocate here, what if, the whole concept of God or a creator is for the creator to experience itself. And so all aspects of life must be experienced in order for that intention to be fulfilled. Therefore, there has to be the dark and the light, right? So there is no judgment on which one is the way, because they all need to exist in order for any of it to exist.
And now this is what's going to piss people off, but this is what the occult believe, is that we're all God experiencing itself. So doing the child molestation, all the dark things to children, it's okay to them because that's their perception, is we're doing it to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, though, I feel like, no, if I created something at the end of it, I would create a thriving solution. Like, I don't think that there needs to be an ecosystem of pain, suffering, because
like harm isn't the only path.
Harm is not the only path at all. It's just an awareness. And you know what it is? It's, when I was young, I had to go through a lot of traumatic things. And now I'm just going to be honest. When I was a kid, I was very young. I was probably like maybe 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dog, and she didn't do what I wanted, and she did something that upset me. And based off of what I was experiencing, I thought that the only way to actually discipline her would be to physically harm her. And so that's what I chose. I chose to physically harm a miniature pinscher, like the size of a chihuahua. And I was like 5 or 6. And when I came home the next day, I quickly realized that what was happening to me was wrong, and what I did to my dog was wrong. So when I got home and I'm like, yay, where's my dog? My dog wasn't like happy to see me, like how dogs are. My dog cowered under the table.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my God. And I became self-aware at a young age that this is the path. And the thing is, and it wasn't that I was already aware of this. We're all born this way.
Right. But you had been conditioned out of it, and then you had to circle back.
You had to circle back. And I was just fortunate to circle back at a young age.
Right.
And I'm going to say this because of me having that understanding at a young age, the loving bond that I had with it. Because Chihuahuas live like relatively long, right?
Mm-hmm.
She would have been 18 years old in August of 2015. And 18 for a miniature pinscher, like that's pretty good. And so I feel like love is what actually kept it going, you know?
Right.
So that's what you realize is when you get perspective in life, it's the biggest growth that you can.
Right.
And it's the awareness, the conviction. It's you're doing things that create a result and less being working against that, I guess.
Right. So you gained perspective in that case through pain. And so do you think that maybe was a catalyst for you then to be like, there has to be a better way for me to get this same level of perception without having to go through, for instance, harming something else or being harmed?
Oh man, I didn't even have a choice. Like I didn't, oh man, it's messed up because what I had to experience, I didn't realize was that bad until people were they're pitying me.
Right.
I'm just like, what? Like I laugh about it. Like I laugh about the things that happen to me and it's like, I don't even feel bad. But then now it's like, people are trying to give me the perception of like, I need
through their lens. It was horrific.
It was horrific. Yeah. So to me, it was like a walk in the park because like I had experienced the first thing I experienced at a young age was my mom's boyfriend at the time putting a cigarette out of my hand.
Right.
And the best part about that is I went the day he left, the same day he burned, or the next day that he had burned a cigarette on my hand, I lit the whole house on fire. And that's why I went to foster care. And that's why I'm adopted. Wow. So it's like the most beautiful, like you said, it opens a portal.
Right.
He's like, if he didn't put his cigarette
pain was a catalyst to change the whole trajectory of your life.
Exactly. But also at the same time, like, it's like pain is I'm going to say it. Pain is a perception and is subject to each person. I could take a belt all day and not even bat an eye.
Right.
And then like some people, that's messed up. But you see what I'm saying? And it's like, and that's even the relationship. Like I remember with my mom giving me the belt once and I like walked upstairs smirking like, because it didn't hurt. And she's like, that didn't hurt, did it? Come back here. And I'm just like, wait, no, it did.
Right.
You know,
right. No, I had that same experience when my mom used to spank us. And I've been a big girl since I came out of her womb. So I was just like, I would pretend that it hurt because I'm like, oh, this is an easy punishment. I just have to get spanked 20 times.
I was too prideful.
And then I'm like, oops.
I was too prideful to do that.
You smirked in your mom's face.
It was like my dad threw a chair at me instead of letting the chair hit me. I didn't put it down. Like, it's like
sorry, I became a ninja. Did I not mention?
Yeah, it's like it's at the end of the day. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do now?
Right. Right, but choosing to level up, right?
Yes.
Like we can either succumb to the pain and allow the pain to take over and to diminish us, or we can use it as a portal. Again, it is the perception of that pain.
And I just want to be clear here. I don't want you guys to think that I like went through like this horrible abusive childhood. The way I look at it is like my auntie and my uncle raised 3 kids of their own and they're all ready to retire. And then they're boom, out of nowhere, like they're already getting old, and then they get this fresh 5-year-old kid who been taught to steal. Like I taught my mom's boyfriend taught me how to pickpocket. I was a little thief, you know. So I literally at 3.5 years old, I went up to the if you guys ever in Kahaluu, you know the little marketplace that's on the side.
Yeah.
So it's down that right turn down there. That's where the house was that I burned down. I was on the news too. I was on there.
I'm famous.
My grandmother was cooking, and they I can't find it. I wish I could find that video.
Yeah.
It would mean so much to me. But because
anyone out there has it in the archives,
yes, please. And it's because they did it unlawfully, so they're afraid of retaliation because they didn't ask my mom to interview me as a minor. So there's all this legalities that they're not letting me see it. But anyways,
But they interviewed you?
Yeah. So wait, get this. After Marty had left, I walked myself to the marketplace and I said, "Hey, can I borrow some matches? My mom will pay you later." Like I just finessed the dude. And he's like, "Yeah, here you go. Here's some matches." I did it with matches
to light the house on fire.
And it wasn't a box of matches. It was like, I watched him. You pull it out, you flip it over and you pinch and you pull. I just lit the whole thing on fire and tossed it. And then I realized, hey, maybe this was a mistake. So with my little hands, I was cupping water and going like this. And I'm like, oh boy. And then I grabbed my mom and I was like, "Mom, the house is on fire. We got to go." And then next thing I know, my grandmother's cooking. And there I am on the news and they're like, "How did you do it?" And I'm like, "With one match."
No way.
And I have the VHS is somewhere. It's somewhere out there. My grandmother recorded. They used to play it. And whenever my family would come around, they're like, "Hide your candles." Like there was an inside joke. And it's not even that. Like my biological mom didn't know who my dad was. So there was all these inside jokes that, when it hits you later on in life and you realize what's going on.
Yeah.
So like my mom dated Eddie Murphy. So like my family would be like, "It's Eddie Murphy's bastard child." I'm like, "I don't know what that means."
Wow.
I don't know what that means. So there's all these inside jokes, and it's like, now that I'm like that age.
So what if you are? Do you know?
Oh no, I'm not. The timing was like too soon.
Okay.
But the most messed up
part, a lot of kids.
Yes, I put myself on Ancestry.com. My mom made me do it like years ago. But I get these matches with these guys. I kid you not, they look just like. And I'm just like, "Yo, I think you're my brother or like half brother." And I'm like, "Do you know who your father is?" And they're like, "I don't know who my dad is either." And I'm just like, "What?" I'm talking like, I have like 4 of them. There's 4 of them. None of them know who their dad is. And we're all related, like super close. So I'm pretty sure I have brothers.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they don't know.
Papa was a rolling stone.
It's hilarious. Like I'm talking to him on Facebook. He's like, "I don't know who my dad is either." I'm just like,
whoa. And how old are they? Older than you or younger?
They're younger.
Wow.
I have there was one older woman. And she's because apparently I'm like from Nigeria, mostly. So like she was definitely Nigerian. I was just like, we look a lot. Like I could show you pictures of them, and then she's just like, "I don't know who my dad is either." I'm just like, damn. Like can't catch no breaks.
You mean you never know?
Yeah, and it's okay, and I'm okay with that. Especially with growing up, my biological mom. The only father you need is Jesus.
Well, he ain't showing up either. So now what, Roberta?
Exactly.
What's going on over there?
But no, I got 1,000,001 stories. I think
I bet
we can. We got to do this again.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's. I think the next time you guys see this, it's gonna be looking a lot more legit. Hopefully, because I plan. Because you're leaving, right?
I'm leaving, but I'm coming back.
When you come back?
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh.
The cat says yes.
You guys can't hear the cat. But yeah, my cat.
Esmeralda
or Emerald, either one. She doesn't respond unless you like. I mean, she does respond. It's weird. I swear to you, she's a soul. Actually, I know. I called her the other day, and she purred back, and I'm like, that's how I knew. She knows her name.
She totally knows.
She just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you're gone for 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm hoping at some point. I mean, I might be gone for a month because my son's gonna be soon. So, but we're gonna have this again. We're gonna have this whole thing, and then I also got other people that are looking to be on the cast,
if you will.
Yes.
Cast it up.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything that you want to finish up with?
Sweaty balls.
Oh yeah. Peace and love. And we always do this because this promotes separation.
Oh, I already know.
Oh, yeah.
I tell everybody. Even I go up to little kids and I tell them.
I just do this.
That's why they say, doo, doo, doo. This means we are one, unity. This is a symbol of unity. This is a symbol of war. We are separate. Divide. Or it's also the symbol of, I'm going to kill you. Bow and arrow, yes. Right?
No, actually, that's what the middle finger is for. It's because you know how the middle finger means.
That's why they say it.
The middle finger means F-U, right? But it's actually from Indians would do that, and it's a pluck you because I'll pluck you.
Ah,
With the
right.
bow,
I
yeah.
knew there was something.
Yeah,
with
you
the
see my
bow.
bows? You see that big one right there?
I do.
It's nice, ain't it? But alrighty, peace and love, and we will see all of you guys soon.